Hi everyone, my name is Kate. Welcome back to my wondernetting channel, and today we have an interesting video because today I'm gonna recreate my granny square crochet dress. This is my granny square dress. By the way, I have a tutorial how to crochet this dress on my channel. You can find the link in the right corner. So yes, I want to recreate or remake this dress. By the way, who was wondering, I didn't hide the ends on my dress, but today I want to hide them all. So what I'm gonna do with this dress, I want to turn this dress into a set of top and skirt, or maybe top and short set. I'll take all the squares of this dress and we rebuild this dress into a set. This is the easiest granny square. They consist of 3 rows in different colors. I made this dress with my leftover yarns. It's made of cotton, 100% cotton. So I recommend you to use 100% cotton too. As I said, I have a tutorial to this dress on my YouTube, and I showed in that video how to crochet the squares and also how to crochet the triangles. I don't know, we will need these triangles on my new set or not, but you can check out how to crochet these triangles. I think I will not need all the squares from this dress, but we'll see in the process how it goes, because I still don't know what type of the set I want, like the design of the top, shorts or maybe skirts. I still don't know. So I think I will start to take off all the squares. I hope you will like this video. Please write me in the comments, what do you think of this dress? Maybe I don't need to remake it. Or maybe I need to hide all the ends and wear it like this. Okay, please write me your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and let's get started. Alright, let's take another look at my dress. This is what it looks like. As you can see, there are small squares and 3 small rows in each square. They're pretty tiny on their own. So now I'm gonna start taking the dress apart. When I made this dress, I was honestly too lazy to view in all the ends. I just wanted to finish it as fast as possible, so I kind of left them all hanging. And this is what the inside of the dress looks like. So yeah, now you get why I never really wore it. The hardest part, actually unraveling the squares, wasn't that bad, since I didn't view in any ends. Sometimes the yarn would get a bit tangled and I'd have to work through the knots or even cut it with scissors. But overall, taking the whole dress apart was pretty easy. The hardest part is still ahead, dealing with all those yarn tails. I've only taken apart the top part of the dress so far. It looks kind of funny right now, but the way I'm thinking, we might not even need those little squares. Maybe the leftover squares from the bottom part will be enough, but we'll see. Again, I still have no idea what kind of top I want to make, or skirt or pair of shorts. To be honest, I don't really remember how long it took me to make this dress, but I crochet pretty fast, so I'd say I probably finished it within a week. Again, you can totally use this video to make just the top, if that's what you like, or just the skirt, if that's more your vibe. That way it will take you less time, and if you ever feel like it, you can always go back and make the other part to complete the set. So I've taken the whole dress apart and already started viewing the ends. Here's how many squares I've done so far. Honestly, it takes a lot of time, and I think this is probably the biggest downside of working with granny squares. You really have to secure those yarn tails properly, and they don't always stay in place that well. Honestly, it's probably best to view them in as you go, so you don't end up suffering later like I'm now. I think I've already spent a few days just dealing with all these ends. It's been a few days, and here's how many squares I've got left. Honestly, not that many, and I really hope I can start stitching everything together today, because I'm kinda over it at this point. I don't like spending too much time on one project. That's probably one of my weaknesses. Fun fact about me: if a project drags on for too long, and by too long I mean more than 1 week, I just totally lose interest. In this case, yeah, I've still managed to get everything done in under a week, but it's just the super repetitive part part, like viewing all the ends, that I really don't enjoy. If you're like me, like this video. I finally finished all the squares, and now we are going to lay out the top and skirt. I've decided to go with the skirt in the end just because I know I'll wear it more often. And honestly, I feel like a granny square skirt just looks a bit more stylish. If I had made shorts, I'd probably only wear them at home, but a skirt, I'll happy wear that outside too. So I'm laying everything out on the floor now. You can follow along with me if you want. I'm just going with my gut here. I'm laying out the top together with the back right away. Here's a little tip. I recommend adding one more square here. I'll be adding it later too, because right now it's not super obvious, but without that extra square at the shoulder, the top might end a bit too short. There's also going to be an extra row of the squares down the center of the back. And now for the skirt, I'm laying out a pretty wide skirt with just 3 rows for now, but in the end I'll make it with 4 rows and in total of 40 squares. Here's a little visual layout for you. This is the front part of the top. It's made up of 16 squares and 2 little triangles for the chest area. These 2 squares on the sides are for the sides of the top. The back looks like this, and it's made of 17 full squares, so in total you'll need 33 squares for the top and 2 triangles. The skirt is just a simple rectangle made up of 40 squares. The front and back are exactly the same and follow this layout. Just so you know, I'm making the skirt and top in size SM, so if you are making a larger size, I'd recommend adding an extra row to the sides of the skirt, so instead of 40 squares, you might need around 48 squares. Same goes for the top. You can add an extra row of 4 squares to the side to make it wider. I started joining one part of the top, and as you can see, it's turning out a bit short. That's because I didn't add an extra square on the shoulder like I mentioned earlier. So now I'm going to redo this part and show you how to properly join all the squares together. Here I've laid out one part of the top, and underneath is the back piece. These 2 squares on the left side, that's the side of the top, so you don't need to place any back squares under them. These 3 squares here will be the center of the back, but we don't need them just yet. We are going to start sewing everything together from the bottom up and then finish with the back piece. After that, we'll attach the side parts on both sides, then we'll flip everything over and sew across horizontally. Start by making a slip knot, then flip both squares on the wrong side, since we are going to join everything from the inside. I'm starting at the corner of the square, and I'll be joining them using single crochet stitches, going into each stitch on both squares. Once I finish these 2, I'll move on to the next pair, flip them to the wrong side as well, and keep crocheting from the corner. Once I finish with the first set of squares, I only do one single crochet in the corner, then I grab the next 2 squares and keep going exactly the same way. This is how we join the entire front piece. When I reach the shoulder area, I only have 1 square here, so I just keep single crochet along one side of it. Then I move on to the back piece and do the same, single crochet along one side of the square. Next, we need to flip the whole thing over so we can continue joining the rest of the squares correctly on the back side of the top. I've joined the front and back pieces of the top together. Now we need to attach the 2 squares that goes on the side of the top. We'll connect the second part of the top the same way. Start by joining everything vertically, and at the very end we'll attach that center strip on the back of the top. It gives the top a bit more shape and room. After that, we'll start joining everything horizontally. We'll do that the same way with single crochets, working on the wrong side. Honestly, it's all super simple, but if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask in the comments. Joining the squares is way easier than viewing the ends. It also takes way less time. I finished putting the top together in just a couple of hours, and after that we'll also add a small edging to give the top a more finished look. I've finished joining everything vertically. Now it's time to start connecting the squares horizontally. On the front side, we'll start here and stop right after the second square. This leaves space for the armholes. For the shoulders, we only join one square. Below that, we connect all the way across from the front piece through the back and ending again on the front. Here's how it turned out. Let's try it on. We've got a super cute vest so far. Now all that's left is to add an edging and viewing the rest of the joining ends. By the way, if you want to add sleeves, you can simply attach a few extra squares, about 4 more here at the shoulder, to create a bit of sleeve coverage. I'll show you how to do the edging a little later. Right now I want to go ahead and start joining all the squares for the skirt. For now I'm only connecting 3 rows, but I'll adjust it later to match the layout I showed you earlier. I'll be joining everything on the wrong side again using single crochets. You can do it whichever way feels more comfortable, either connecting everything vertically first and then go horizontally, or the other way around. Here's what the skirt looks like so far. Of course, we're still going to add a small waistband, and I'll also insert an elastic band so it fits nicely around the hips. Right now I still need to finish the vertical joints, and then we will start working on the edging and the waistband. Now you can get a rough idea of how the whole outfit is going to look together. By the way, this little vest looks super cute, just worn over a plain white t-shirt. I actually really love that combo, and the skirt looks really nice too, but with only 3 rows it does feel just a little bit short. To make the edging, we are going to start by going all the way around the edge with single crochets. Just insert a hook into each stitch and work single crochets along the entire edge, even along the bottom of the top. Also make sure to add a single crochet into the joint between the squares, so there is no big gap there. At the end of the round, join with a slip stitch, then make chain of 3, and in the same stitch where you made the chain, work 2 more double crochets. So in total with chain of 3 you will have 3 double crochets. Now skip 2 stitches at the bottom, and in the third stitch make a single crochet. Then again skip 2 more stitches, and in the third one make 5 double crochets into the same stitch. Skip 2 stitches again and make single crochet into the third one. And repeat this pattern all the way around the whole edge. Skip 2, 5 double crochets in one stitch, then again skip 2 and single crochet. Skip 2, 5 double crochets, and so on. At the very end, join the edging with a slip stitch and your edging is done. To make the ties, I chained 55 and worked the second row using just slip stitches. As you can see, I made 2 ties. So our top is completely finished, and now we are moving on the skirt. As I mentioned before, the skirt turned out a bit too short and too wide for me, so I'm going to remove the 2 rows of squares from the sides here and add a 4th row at the bottom to make it longer. Good thing I don't have to undo all the squares for this, just the seams where they were joined together, though I will have to add the new row separately with different pieces. And here's what the almost finished skirt looks like. As you can see, the length is perfect now and it fits my hips just right. To make a small waistband for the skirt, you can use any stitches you like. Here I'm showing you half double crochets, but honestly single crochets work best since they are denser and your waistband won't end up looking too holey. You can even crochet it in spiral without joining the rounds. Once you are happy with the width of your waistband, make chain 1 and cut the yarn. Then we'll add some elastic to the waistband so the skirt fits nicely, and we'll also do the same edging along the bottom of the skirt as we did on the top. I finished crocheting the waistband on the skirt, and honestly the skirt turns out absolutely perfect, just like imagine it. I haven't added the elastic yet, I'll show you that in a moment, but just look at this skirt and ignore the mess in the background. I'm seriously in love with it. It's literally the skirt of my dreams. I wanted something like this for a long time. And as you can see, I used the exact same edging at the bottom as I did on the top. Let's go ahead and add the elastic to the skirt so we can finally admire the finished result. I have this type of sewing elastic thread. You can find it at any fabric or craft store. As you can see, it's just a regular elastic. I'm going to use a smaller crochet hook than the one I used for the waistband to create a bit of tension. That way the edge of the skirt will fit snugly on the hips. I'll insert the hook in the stitch like this and make a simple slip stitches all the way around the waistband. Thanks to the smaller crochet hook, the elastic will slightly tighten the edge. At the end, I'll just tie a knot with the starting yarn tail and view it into the stitches to hide it. If you can't buy this kind of elastic thread, I recommend just crocheting a small tie using either single crochets. Then you can simply view it through the waistband of the skirt and wear it with that tie instead. And here's the final result we got. Honestly, it turned out even better than I expected. It's super easy to make. I feel like even a beginner could totally handle it. By the way, here's how many squares I had left over from the dress. Let me know in the comments what I should make with these 5 leftover squares. Maybe a headband? Or do you have other ideas? I can't say exactly how many skeins of yarn I used for this set, but I can tell you the total in grams. I use 458 grams of medium weight cotton yarn for the top and skirt set. So this is the result of remaking my granny square crochet dress, and I'm really happy how it turned out. I've been wanting the skirt like this and top for a long time, and I really love the idea of wearing the set as separate pieces. Like I can wear this top with my usual shorts or this skirt with my usual tops. And honestly, I think this set is better than original dress because I can mix and match it. I can't wait to wear it out, maybe for a beach or just around the town. Let me know in the comments what you think. Was remaking the dress worth it, or should I have left it just as it was? Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video and leave your comment. And I thank you for watching this video. We'll see you in the next one. Bye kiddos!